All right, the day finally comes when you know you're going to be going home. Tell me about that.
Oh, it was real, unreal. It was unreal. I cried when I left the artillery. I
When you went when you went back to Seoul.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was emotional. What was going through your mind?
When I went back, well, I was leaving the guys,
Yeah.
and just a bit.
Oh, that's all right.
But anyhow, when I got ready to leave the railroad battalion, there wasn't any tears or anything. I'd made some good friends there. One experience I had there, one of the guys was named Marks, and he was from New York, and he had a Korean girlfriend, and we didn't see anything wrong with that. But his girlfriend back in New York wrote him a Dear John letter, and we just thought that was the awfulest thing that ever was, that she'd do that. But we would do everything we could to cheer him up, and we did some things to cheer him up.
So going back from Seoul to back home, how long did that take, and how did you travel, by boat again?
Well, we went by train from Yeongdeung-po down to Busan again.
Uh-huh.
And this time the train went faster, and it didn't slow down in the towns.
So as you were coming back, the train didn't slow down.
No, it didn't slow down. And I think the reason was the crew knew that our hearts were a lot harder than the young guys that went north.
So before, when you had all these kids that were really poor following you and asking, begging and wanting handouts,
yeah,
they had kind of learned that a little bit different frame of mind now.
Yeah. And you see some things that change your outlook and everything, and make you hard. One thing happened back when I was in the railroad battalion that really, two things that really affected me. We were on the shuttle and saw this old Korean woman walking, and she had a heavy load, on her back and everything. The Koreans carried a lot of things on their back, and even on their heads. But she fell and just lay there in the street and on the sidewalk, and the other Koreans just walking around her. Nobody doing anything about it. And then the other thing that really affected me, one day I was got off the shuttle bus downtown, and I do that a lot of times, then walk up to our quarters, which would probably be about 3 blocks. A little old boy, I believe he didn't look like he's over 6 years old. Cute little old Korean boy, ragged, everything, came up to me and said, "I want to be your houseboy. Be your houseboy." Of course, we had a houseboy, and I couldn't bring up another one. But anyway, it really touched me. I gave him some money. Maybe his mother was having him do this or something like that, and everything to raise money. But it was touching.
You could tell those people were really impoverished.
Oh, they were.
Been through a lot. But South Korea benefited tremendously after the war.
Yes.
Relative to North Korea, their economy.
Well, a fellow sent me a video of Korea, and their cities make our cities kind of look like slums now, because I guess Seoul especially was tore up so bad that they rebuilt it and everything. It's beautiful, and they have high-speed trains, and
there was a thought that if nothing had been done, the North would have continued to expand.
Yeah.
And all of Korea may have been communist.
Of course, Russia was behind the pushing the Chinese into it and everything, and so communism that was the domino theory, But so they thought they had to be stopped, and I guess we contained them and stopped them and kept them from taking over South Korea. And South Korea is a showcase now for democracy and So,
tell me what it was like finally getting to return to the United States.
well, the night before we were going to come into San Francisco, none of us, not hardly anybody, even went to bed. We stayed up. We'd go up on deck. Can you see it yet? No, not yet. And then about maybe like 4 o'clock in the morning, or 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, hey, we can see the lights of San Francisco. And so
Lots of excitement.
Lots of excitement. And we came in, and we were ahead of time, so we circled Alcatraz a couple of times. Came in I remember coming under the Golden Gate Bridge. That was emotional.
Oh, yeah.
Just coming under the Golden Gate Bridge. Because I remember when I went over, we were up on deck in some of the dependents' quarters, and they took out a coin and threw under the bridge. And they said, "Why do you do that?" And they said, "Well, you make a wish, it'll come true." So I took
took a coin.
I took pennies out and threw under the bridge, and I wish I'd get to come back. Anyway, when we came in, we came up, and they pulled the ship up, and there was a fat lady, opera singer, sang "My Hero, You Belong to Me, Fly the Ocean in a Silver Plane." And then they changed it a little bit. See Mount Fuji when it's wet with rain. Walk on, white with snow. Walk on Gishi Street in Tokyo, something like that. And then they told us, they just kept telling us, hold your heads high. You're heroes. You're heroes. Remember your heroes. Hold your head high. Then when we got to Camp Stoneman, they had a steak meal, everything. Got on the train, started home, and
back to San Antonio.
Back to San Antonio, and I think I called Janie and told her that they could see me. I think I'd have some free time on, say, like July 1st, 1953.
July 1st, and then July 3rd you got discharged.
And so Will brought her and Mother down there to see me. And then they came back on July 3rd. I guess I could have waited till July 3rd for them to come down in here. But very, very, very good homecoming.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And
what a time.
Appreciated them coming down. Janie and I were together just about almost constantly until July 30th. And I found out I was going to be able to get a job at Hereford, and
with the railroad.
With railroad, and I think the plan was for us to get married in the fall sometime. I said, "Well, why don't we get married now? Because I may not be able to get off in the fall after I go back to work." And so we got married July 30th.